if you take that to the emotional side of your personal mindset work, that same approach that's trying to get more good emotions, eliminate bad emotions. When I say you're going to find your Rubik's Cube locking up all over the place, I mean that Rubik's Cube represents every emotional part that you are working with in your system. And some parts are just requesting more support. But we're trained to try to shame that part into obedience, shame that part into cooperating behaviorally. And we learn that largely from how we were motivated in our childhood by authority figures and coaches who basically yelled at us to get us to perform better. That was the motivational system that the type A typically learned from. And so it's imprinted into the psyche as the only real tool he knows. And the convincing part about that, this is why we stay trapped in this for so long, is that it actually works in the short term. It can be very effective at getting production, extra output out of you. But it's not till you start to look at it through the macro lens of what happens over a 10-year period where you start to see all the residual backlash of motivating yourself in a harsh way. And I think that is the huge blind spot of the community, is that in any performance industry, I would argue that this is probably the huge blind spot. People are justifying harsh motivational systems because they generate higher output in the short, without looking at a macro scale of how much are you draining your emotional equity to the point where you're going to be burned out in 3 years, 5 years, and not able to have the emotional resilience, the performance resilience to be able to spot that big project, which is what you should really be waiting for. And now you have a grip of money and you can pick your train up and be like, oh, I'm over here now because this is the higher implied path.